Right, I've got Danny Wright with us again. It's very, very lovely to see him. We're very happy and excited to see you. So if you could just do opening however you wish for me, that would be lovely.
Good evening, friends. I'd like to ask you to join me in opening prayer, please. I'd like to invite Great Spirit into this Spiritualist Centre this evening to bring love, healing, comfort, wisdom, knowledge, confidence, whatever you feel we need to take us along our path, Great Spirit. As we know, we all walk a path, and as we also know, we do have problems and troubles on that path. And it's nice to know, Great Spirit, that you're there with us, helping us, leading us, supporting us in any way possible to help us moving on our path again. Also, I'd like to ask for healing for the many names of this book of this centre, other centres, churches and religions around the world. The world is going through a bad time at the moment, and it really does need healing. Also, I'd like to ask for healing for our animals, our pets, our farm animals, zoo animals, but also animals in the wild. We forget these sometimes. And yes, they can be a pest, like the fox who keeps after my fish. But we have to remember, if there wasn't any wild animals, there wouldn't be any mankind. So I ask you, Great Spirit, send our healing to all living creatures on this earth plane. I'd like to ask for guidance for our homeless out in the streets at night. Lead them to somewhere they can find warmth, comfort, food. But most of all, because each one's got a unique story to tell, lead them to that certain person who can listen to them, help them, and find them a permanent home. No one should be homeless in this day and age. And there's service people abroad. We may not like why they're there, we may not understand why they're there. And it may go against our convictions that they bear arms. But we have to remember, in times gone by, people like these have not only given their time, they've given their lives to give us the freedom of what we're doing this evening. So I ask you, Great Spirit, when their work's done, bring them home safely to their family and friends. And now I leave this service in your hands. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you. Right, I've got my little healing book here. If you haven't put any names in it, don't worry, you can put it on afterwards. Magic still works. It's all good. So I'm going to read this out and read out the names. If you can just, we're going to have like just a moment's silence, just so that we can picture them in a better position than they are now, surrounded by healing and love and light. Great Spirit, in these uncertain and often scary times, places like this sanctuary are all the more important, acting as a place to meet between worlds, keeping our loved ones and their support close, reminding us that we are not alone. And it is with that thought in mind that we ask Spirit to take the lovely energy raised here tonight and to send it out as healing to all the places where it will do the most good and to all those listed below. The healing list is Darren, Seffi, Michael, Jan, Amy, Leslie, Clive, Sylvia, Maureen, Craig, Scott, Katie, Sue, Sam, Robert, Betty, Mick, Jeanette, I think that's Leslie as well, Barry, Louise and Fiona. So if you could just, like I said, picture them in a bit of a better position than they are now, that would be wonderful. Lovely, thank you very much. Now I've just got a short little story to read for you all tonight. And this is just a little story about how you shouldn't ever give up on your dreams, but also that Spirit always has a plan for us. As I stepped onto the stage, I felt a familiar tingle run up my spine. Then the music began to play and I took a deep breath and began to sing. Adele's version of Make You Feel My Love was one of my favourite songs. And when I hit the last note, the audience burst into applause, making me feel 10 feet tall. Thank you all so much, I told them. I never got tired of the buzz I got from singing, and I felt so lucky to do what I loved and actually get paid for it. I always wanted to sing, My mum, Pat, was a dance teacher, so showbiz ran in my veins. I followed in Mum's footsteps, singing in pubs and clubs across the country, which I loved. However, as the years went by, the shine began to wear off. So, aged 46, I went to work on a cruise ship. I visited amazing places from Norway to all the Mediterranean, and I felt a bit like being on holiday. It sounds wonderful, Mum said when I told her about my adventures. I can't imagine ever wanting to do anything else, I told her. But then COVID hit and I found myself out of work. Back home, I felt lost and a little bit hopeless. To take my mind off things, I joined a psychic group. The spirit world had always interested me, and I began doing readings for people over Zoom. I took to it straight away. Not only was I able to get a sense of the person, I could connect with the spirits too. I could hear their voices and see them standing there in my mind's eye. Mum was delighted that I'd found a new passion. When I die, I'll come through and help you with your reading, she promised, not realising how soon that day would come. Just a year on, Dad rang to tell me that she passed away suddenly. But I didn't get to say goodbye, I sobbed. Then something astonishing happened. Out of nowhere, I heard my mum's voice saying, "I'm sorry, darling." "Mum?" I asked. I knew it was her, showing me that she was with me in spirit. Right there and then, I knew that I had to carry on with my psychic work. Mum would want it, and she might even help me as she'd promised. Soon after that, I began doing readings on stage for crowds of people. Often it involved passing on memories from the audience's loved ones on the other side. One evening, I was reading for a lady called Sophie when her great nan came through. "She's playing your favourite song," I said. I couldn't for the life of me remember the name of it. "It goes like this," I said. I began singing. "Stop right now, thank you very much." I won't sing. A sudden wave of emotion hit me. I could feel Mum next to me, and I knew she was helping to channel the spirits. "The Spice Girls," Sophie said, and everyone started clapping. I love them. Soon the whole room was joining in, and the feeling of exhilaration from my singing days came back full force. I thought, I've missed this. Then I had an idea. Why not combine the two and become a psychic singer? So the following year, I launched a show called Music and Messages. It was an instant hit. I would open the show with "Don't Rain on My Parade" from Funny Girl, before going around the room, passing on messages to the audience. When a spirit told me a favourite song, I would begin to sing it and everyone would join in. The music brought up the energy in the room, making it easier for spirits to come through and for the audience to relax. It made what could have otherwise been quite a sombre event quite uplifting. I even got song requests from spirits. Now I'm back doing what I love. It feels great to be helping people and entertaining them at the same time. And who knows, perhaps one day I'll take my show on a cruise ship. I never gave up on my singing dream, but I'm so glad that fate had other plans. Okay, that's me done. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll pass you over to Danny to do whatever he wants to do.
Just do a little address first.
Yep.
Spirit has given us lots of wonderful things. And I believe spirit laws are more important than laws made by man. That's just my opinion. And one of the things that spirit has given us, freedom of speech and freedom to think what we wish to think. No one can take that away from you, and no one can stop you from thinking or saying what you wish. So we must try to fight back and get these things back, because they're slowly being taken away from us. When I went to school, like most of the people who went to school when we was young, teachers taught us how to think. Now the children are being taught what to think. And there is a difference. And we must break away from that. And if someone gets up to say something, what they believe in, generally believe in, people try to shut them down, try to stop them from saying that. That's got to be wrong, because that's not Spirit's way. Spirit is giving you this right to say and think of what you want. And yes, comes responsibility with that. And we can say the wrong things, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by mistake. And people have the right, just as much as we have the right to say it, to say to us, "You're wrong." They have just as much right to we got our right to our opinion, and other people got right to their opinion. But they don't have the right to stop you from saying what you think. So we must get them back. And as we live our lives, we all hope in this room that we go to the spiritual world. And we wonder, what do we have to do to get to the spiritual world? It's simple, really. Do the best you can. They don't want people who are perfect. If they wanted people who were perfect, the place would be empty. There'd be nobody up there. Because there's no such thing as the perfect person. We've all got our faults, we've all got our biases and things, we all do wrong, we all make mistakes, and we all do things that we shouldn't do. That's nature, that's what we do. We learn by those mistakes. If you want to get to the spirit world, just try and be a better person than you were last week, last month, last year. Then you can look back on your life and say, well, I learnt that lesson, that's made me a better person. And try to live that way. That's all what Spirit wants you to do. They don't want you to work miracles. They don't want you to be the perfect person. They don't want you running about everywhere. It's nice if you do, but they don't want you running about helping everybody. Fine, if you want to do that, okay. But I just want you to be a better person than you have as life goes on. I'm going to leave them thoughts with you. Thank you for listening. Carry on. If I come to you, please have an open mind. Please don't concentrate on a loved one who you wish to hear from. I can't force people to come in the spirit world. They come because they want to, not because I tell them they've got to. And if you want your mum or your dad or your nan or your granddad, they might be watching Coronation Street, EastEnders. They might be having a bath or a shower. You wouldn't want me to get them out of the shower. They might have other things to do. But if they've got something really important to tell you or help you with, they will be here. They will come. But it doesn't have to be your mum or your dad or your nanny and granddad that can give you a good message. There could be other people in your family. But then again, it doesn't have to be family. It can be friends, school friends, work friends, best friends, people you've met down the supermarket, an old tramp you give a pound to for a cup of coffee or something. It could be absolutely anyone. And nobody can remember every single person they've met. I can't remember who I met yesterday. So when they ask me about you, but that's our job, to give you proof who they are. And sometimes when these people come through, we get people that come through who you may have absolutely hated. These people do come through. And if you don't want to talk to them, fine. I can just say, sorry, it's not your night tonight, move on over, let somebody else in. But when they do come, these people, and they just say 2 or 3 words. And that is generally, I'm sorry. And it's an ending to a situation, a finalisation of the situation. So that can be nice. But if you don't want to talk to them, fine. But remember, they will be back another night. So it's up to you. And also one last thing is that sometimes when I do go to someone, I might get 3 or 4 different people in. You might have to sort them out who they are. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen now and again. I'm not sure I'm going with it at the moment. No, gentlemen, can I come to you, sir? Oh, yes. Can you take the name Bernie or Bernard? I just said tell him Bernard. I'm just waiting for someone to come in. I'm not saying I've got Bernard, but you just said Bernie or Bernard. Okay, hold that. Okay. Okay, hold that. Don't worry about it. Okay. I have a man coming in. I feel he will be a man 2 generations up. That'd be your grandfather level. I'm not saying it's easy grandfather, it'd be on his level. As this man comes in, I just feel he's a man who will feel the cold. He will wear a coat and a long overcoat. You take a man, used to do that on a regular basis. Also a cloth cap and a scarf. This man, I feel, would have worked in the open. He wouldn't have worked in a factory or a shop or anything like that. Definitely not a shop worker. He used to be a manual worker, but not an office worker, shall we say. This would have been a manual worker he would have worked out in the open. You take a man like that? Okay, some of it. What part of that can you take? Okay, so, but he's showing me, pardon? Okay, he's showing me farm conditions, and he's showing me a pig's there. There would be pigs around him, or there would be a connection with pigs, either with him or with you. Or you lived near somewhere they had pigs or something like that. Does that make sense? Okay, hold that. He's just showing me these pigs running about. Okay. He's also showing me as though this man would have took an interest in football, and I feel he would have supported Tottenham. He's showing me blue and white, and that's the only thing I can think of at the moment.
I mean, there is a family association.
Okay, so this could be someone. Okay. I also feel this man, as he comes in, I've got to give you a name. I know it's a common name, it's an old name, but an old common name. Rosie or Rose? He's talking about going back, a Rosie or a Rose. He's talking about also naval connections in the past with the family. Does that make sense? He's talking about the naval connections, okay? He's also talking about as though there would be connections with the army and someone serving in Germany. He's talking about army connections with Germany. He's not talking about whether it's war or peace. He just said there's connection with someone in the army and Germany. You can't take the army. Okay. No, he hasn't said nothing about Air Force. Don't say anything. Just yes or no do, but you can take your naval connections going back in the past. Okay, he's talking about in the past. I feel this is his time. I felt he would have passed a long time ago. Yeah, he's not talking about now. He's talking about his generation. He's also talking about someone either worked with traction engines, or he took an interest in traction engines, or there's someone around you, or maybe you took an interest in traction engines.
I do believe one of my friends worked on the railways.
Okay, perhaps I'm right wrong with this.
Actually, the other one did work on like a steam lorry.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I can take that, yeah. He's showing that sort of thing. I didn't think it was the railways, but now you said the steam lorry, I can take that. Okay. Okay, it's fine, I might have them both in, okay. I also feel I've got to give you a connection. Someone passed with cancer. Someone, heavy smoker, passed with cancer. Okay, hold that. He's talking about an heavy smoker in the family is going back, lung cancer, passed with lung cancer. Okay, he's also talking around you about there's with him that he was someone who took things slow. He wasn't a fast man, so everything was done at his speed, and he liked to slow things down. Does that make sense? For some reason, he couldn't, or he didn't want to move fast. Anything he'd done very slow, but correctly, to make sure everything was right. As though he would double check his work all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, both granddads were quite chill.
This man would have passed in his early 80s. He's talking about passing in his early 80s. Okay, hold that. I'm going to ask him why he's come. He's talking about you at the moment as though you're in a situation and you don't know which way to turn. Does that make sense?
Really?
Okay. If it's not what way, you don't know what direction to go in. Does that make sense? As though you're looking for something or you're searching for something. Right?
I've had changes in the past.
Okay.
What I'm doing at the moment.
This is so you're wondering what your best next move's going to be situation. Where do you go from here?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Okay, you say about, you don't know exactly what you're doing, so you're looking for direction. That's his way of putting it. You're looking for a direction you want. And what he's saying with that is that sometimes we just have to just carry on as we are. As long as we're happy with what we're doing, that's okay. And when the chances come, you will see the chances you have to take, or if you want to take them, you take them. You see, don't worry if you can't see what you're doing or it's okay. Don't worry about it, because the chances do come, and if you're happy to take the chance, you go with it. Does that make sense? Okay. He's also talking with you about that someone around you having a problem with their leg. If it's not their leg, it's their hip.
Yeah, I can take that.
Then would this be a lady?
Yeah.
Okay, he's talking about the lady, about the top leg and the hip. He's saying she must slow down and she must listen to what she's being told. So she's being told and she's not really listening because she thinks it's going to go away. And he's saying it won't go away, but it can be cured. Does that make sense?
There is someone with a hip problem, but I don't particularly bothers.
Okay, but he's saying sooner or later it won't go away.
No.
He's saying it won't go away. He's also talking should you be wearing glasses?
I have got glasses.
Oh right, he's talking about glasses with
Yeah,
you.
I've just got some.
Oh right, okay, so he's a bit late with that. He's talking about glasses with you. He's also talking with you about you do a lot of reading. Because he's talking about you need more light. Does that make sense? He said the light is not bright enough when you do your reading.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah.
Okay, he's saying you need more light there. He's also talking. I've got to give you Angela as a name. Now I feel that would be in the past. One last thing, he's talking with you about that sometimes we just have to just bear with it in the belief that things is going to be changed, and we just have to wait for those changes. And when they come, we go with them. If we wish to, if we don't, we just ignore them. Does that make sense? Okay, I know. Leave his love with you. I'm sorry you don't know exactly who he is, but as long as it makes sense. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I can come to the lady with the glasses. I'll come to you. Okay. Can you take connections with Bournemouth? Oh, right. Someone just said Bournemouth. Okay, I'm thinking myself, miles away. Yeah, okay. I'm waiting for someone. I've got a lady coming in. This lady comes in. Lovely smile with this lady. This lady was always laughing and joking and enjoying life. You take a lady like that. This lady, I just feel that she passed before her age. She passed. She didn't reach to be an old lady. And I feel this lady was very, how can I say it? Very a modern lady who kept her fashion sense as best she could. Does that make sense? Okay. 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 This lady would have worn she wouldn't be someone dressed up. What's it? Mountain dressed as lamb or something. What it is. This lady would wear modern clothes to suit her, but nothing that didn't suit her. But she would keep up with her fashion the best she could. This lady would dye their hair, and I feel it would be either brunette or black. You take a lady like that? Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. That's that, yeah. I'll remember them days. Okay, okay. That's fine, okay. I've got to give you the name Joan. Yeah, so there's a Joan around you. I've also been told that this lady who's coming in, that she would be someone that used to do paperwork. Either worked in an office or a shop where she would do a lot of figures and writing. Okay, this lady would have been high school or college education, not university, but I think it would be either further education, high school or college. You take this lady? Bernadette, I've got to give you a Bernadette. Okay, I'll hold it anyway. But I say we can't remember every single person. This lady's also talking about there would be with her that she would be someone who would, she would either have a regular coffee morning or she would go to a regular coffee morning with her friends. You see, it'd be, and I feel she's talking about a Thursday, so it would have been on a Thursday or something. Does that make sense? Oh, right, okay. She said about her hair earlier on, didn't she? Okay, right, okay. But she's talking about the coffee and regular thing on a Thursday, put it that way. I also feel this lady, there will be 3 boys around her. If she's not 3 boys with her, it'll be 3 boys with you. Does that make sense? Not with it. Could it be with her? Okay, think about it. Okay. I also got to just talk. This lady would like dancing, and it would be ballroom dancing. Okay, it would be rock and roll and driving or anything like this. Would be proper ballroom dancing. Okay, she was telling me that. This, I also for this lady that she would have drove a little small car. Yeah, like an A40 or something like that. Showed me a box small car. Does that make sense? Okay. Pardon? Yeah, yeah, that sort of, nothing flashy, not a flashy, okay. I also feel at this lady, I just feel with her that she would have passed in her late 70s. Don't see her as a very old lady. Okay, sort of about in her. Okay. Okay, fine. She's giving me the name Pearl. Yeah. Take Pearl. Okay, so there's a connection there. But I just feel this lady, I feel that she was a lady who the last few years of her life, as though she spent alone. Either a partner or a husband either left or passed the spirit before she did. Does that make sense? Okay. I also feel that there will be some problems with this lady. And there will also be with this lady someone or either her that would have took an interest in world affairs that she kept up. You know, if you thought, yeah, she's talking about. Okay, I can ask her why she's come. He's saying to you, you've got to keep your spirits up. Things will happen. Does that make sense? You see, you're waiting for things to happen, things will happen. Keep your spirits up. You see, but the only problem, it might not be exactly the way you want, but it will be okay. You just got to go with it when it happens. Trust it, trust yourself. Does that make sense? And she's also saying there's no need to say too much. Does that make sense? Okay, she's saying, okay. Okay, fine. She said, but things, just keep your spirits, things will change. There are changes coming. She's also saying to you about that, have you wrote a letter off to the council or something? Okay, she said writing a letter to the council or something like that. Okay, and she's saying that's all going through the machinery now. It is being discussed, and you will get an answer. She said, but the answer you get maybe not the answer you want. But she said, don't give up on it. You know, you've made your point. You've got to keep your point going. Okay. She's also saying to you about who's got the record collection they want to get rid of? You still got them? Okay, so she's talking about getting rid of a record collection. So whether it's you or someone. Oh, it may be in there. Okay, there's a record collection that needs to get rid of. Okay. She's also talking around you about there's do you like baking pies? Okay, she's talking about baking the pies and all. Okay, right, she's about baking pies and all that. And you've been cooking with beans. Beans. Cakes, I think. Now, she showed me one of beans. Oh, but that's connection, that's dismembering. Okay. But she's also talking about you or herself. It's about that you've got to sit down and really work out what do you really need in your life. You see, don't be realistic. You've got to work out there's things that we all want but we don't happen. You see, just be realistic and go with what you can go with. You'll find more satisfaction than trying to have something in your life that you can't. That's not possible. Okay, yes, that's okay. But she's saying be more realistic in what you can have in your life, and you'll find you'll be more happier. Does that make sense? Have you taken a necklace off? Oh, right, she's talking about the necklace. Okay, so she's talking about taking the necklace off. Okay. Have you got a ring from someone in spirit? Will that be from your mother? Or nothing? Okay. Who's got your mother's ring? What about your mother's ring? Should you have had your mother's ring? Oh, she's not in spirit. Okay. She's talking about. Oh, right. Oh, what, your grandmother? Okay. Okay. So she's talking about your mother's ring. I misheard that. Okay. I'm going to leave her love with you. Thank you for working with me. Okay. To the lady with the glasses on her head, curly, in the black. Yeah. Okay. I'll come to you. Can you take London connections? North London? Dawson? Balls Pond Road. I've been given Balls Pond Road. Okay. That just said terrible. What's it? Okay. I have a man coming in. This man comes in. I just feel with him he was someone. He would be a trader of some sort. He would do trades, or he would be a dealer or something like that. As he comes in, I don't see him as a big man. I see him about 5'8", 5'9". Don't see him overweight or nothing like that. I just feel slim body with him. A man who jacket and trousers, never jeans. You take a man like that? I've got to give you the name Keith. I'm not saying that's his name, as he said, tell her Keith. Can you take a Keith? Going back. If you can't, just hold on to it. I just give you names. If you can't take it, just hold on, just hold it, you know. Okay, that's fine, as long as you know someone Keith, you know, just tell her Keith. He's always coming out to feel this man. There will be connection with market work with this man. If he weren't in the market, he would have lived near a market or he had dealings with a market. Does that make sense? Okay, fine. Yeah, I understand that because you're under pressure, not me. You're the one that's under pressure. Okay. This man will also feel with him that he will be someone who there will be 6 children around him. Do you have 6 children? Yeah. You've got no. So, but around, he's talking about 6 children, so I'm talking about around him. Okay. Does that make sense? 9. Okay. Yeah. Okay. He's also showing me with him if men would have had a tattoo. He's showing me an anchor. I'm not saying he was in the Navy or nothing like that, but he's showing me a tattoo with an anchor on it. Okay. He's also talking about around him that he would be someone who would like to have a drink. And he's talking about a local, and he's talking about the right horse. Wherever the right horse is. Okay, but I feel this man would be in North London, around that area. Okay, the way he's talking, the way he's dressed, you feel he would be from that area. I feel with his man. I feel his man would, if he didn't pass from it, he would have had it when he was younger. TB. He thought about he was infected with TB. You can't take. Okay, right, okay. This man, I feel, would have passed in his mid-70s. Okay? There will be a sister who should be very close to this man. Okay, I'm going to ask him why he's come. Okay? He's saying with you about that sometimes it's so, how can I put it? I don't want to insult anybody, but you see, you need to open up more in the sense that he wants you to be more positive with things that's coming on around you. Does that make sense? You see, sometimes you look at something and straight away you look for the negative in it rather than the positive in it. He says, just turn that round, you've got to look for the positive. If it's not there, fine. But don't dwell on the negative. Anything negative in your life, you just walk away from. And he seems to think at the moment there is something negative around you and you need to separate from it. You say, how you do that? You say, that's for you. You say, you know, you have to, it's about what's best for you. It's always got to be what's best for you. And he said, you know, you don't like upsetting people. And he's saying sometimes in life you do have to upset people, otherwise you don't live your life how you should live your life. Does that make sense? And you see, it can be an hard decision sometimes because sometimes there's other people involved. But at the end of the day, it's your life and you have to do what's best for you. Does that make sense? And he seems to think this has been going on 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years. Does that make sense? You see, now how much longer are you going to put up with it? You see, you've got to realise if you move yourself from there, then the old new world opens up for you. But at the moment, that old new world can't open up because you know why. He said, but if you move yourself from that situation, then there's a new world for you. And you take advantage of that new world the best you can. Bet. He says it's a big bet. Don't make the same mistakes again. Does that make sense? He says it's up to you. He says, you can live with the way you're living, but you're not 100% happy. And Spirit wants people to be happy. That's why they give you a mind to think for yourself about what's best for yourself. And he said, now you've got to start thinking what's best for me. And get yourself out of that situation the best you can. Does that make sense? He's also talking to you about that. I know you said you didn't have no children, but is there a younger girl around you that needs guidance? Okay, he said, just speak to her. But don't force anything onto her. You've got to talk to her in a way as though she's making the decisions. You help her with the decisions, but you've got to help her in a way that makes her think she's making the decisions. To give her self-confidence. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to leave his love with you. Thank you for listening. Okay? What's the lady at the end of this? Can I come to you? Can I come to you? Lady, yeah. the lady looking for herself.
Oh, it's love for everyone comes in here and forgets what clothes they put on when they came out.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're sitting there like the lady in the blue, they're like,
Yeah, look round. I've got to give you Paula as a name. Can you take Paula? Do you know a Paula? Okay, fine. That's all right. I'm not saying I've got Paula. I'm waiting for someone to come in. Okay. I have a man coming in. And I don't see this as an old man. I feel this as a young man coming in. So you take a young man in spirit, early 20s, older. Okay. But a man who passed quite quickly. Okay. A man had a tragic passing. Does that make sense? Okay. He's not telling me exactly how he passed, but he said, weren't the best of passings. A man who had a good sense of humour. He could be very funny sometimes. But behind that persona, there was a sad man. Does that make sense? You see, I like to put on, I was Jack the Lad and all that. You see, but when I went home at night, I was completely different. You see, I was worried too much. I took too much on, and I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Does that make sense? He's not telling me what I haven't asked him, I don't want to know, but he said I was in a situation where I shouldn't have been in, and it was all down to his own making. Does that make sense? Okay, I can't change that. I'm going to leave that with you. It's just so that the persona he put on wasn't the true person. Okay, right, okay. He's also talking about there would be around him, I say there would be a group of people around him who tried to support him the best they could. And he's saying with that, yeah, I appreciate it. I knew what they was doing, but really it wasn't, it was good of them, but for me, I was on a different wavelength and I didn't actually see what they was doing. Does that, or didn't quite take in what they was doing. Does that make sense? Okay. It's as though they was doing the best they could to help him, but he couldn't see that. At the time, he couldn't see that. As though he was on a different wavelength. Does that make sense? Okay. He's also talking about that. Well, this a man who walked away from education at one time. Does that make sense? Because he's saying, I listened to the wrong advice and I walked away from education. He said that was the beginning of the mistakes I made. He said I couldn't quite get back to that height again. Does that make sense? That was his down. That's when he started going down. And I felt, will this man suffer from depression? Okay. Okay, I just felt with him like that. Like I said, he's not telling me how he passed, but I do feel it's tragic. I also feel that he left younger members of his family behind, sister and a brother. Does that make sense? Oh, children. He's just showing me a boy and a girl. Okay, I thought they was younger siblings. Like that. He's also showing me that each man would like to be alone. He would like to take walks by himself. You can't take that. He's showing me a river. Would he like to walk along the river? Okay. Fun? Not on his own. All right, okay. But was he in a world of his own? Okay, he's giving me that impression, like, you know. It's I just feel this man, it's as though that he had walked away from chances and he couldn't get those chances back. Does that make sense? You see, though, you think of what could have been, and through my own fault and listening to the wrong people, I knew I lost it all. Does that make sense? Okay. Again, he's not telling me how he passed, but he's talking about when a lot of crying at his funeral. I know most people, you know, most funerals people cry, but he's talking about a lot of people crying. And he's talking about people who didn't turn up, who he wanted there but they didn't come. And so he's talking about, I wanted them there to show me that, or show him that they had forgiven him. Does that make sense? He said they weren't there. He said, I just want their forgiveness. That's all I wanted. I weren't blaming nobody else. What happened, happened. That it was my decision or it's my fault. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to ask him what, if I move on now, I'm going to ask him why he's come. He's talking to you about that you've got to learn to take your chances when they come. He said you can always walk away from them later on, but take them. See where they take you. And if you feel you're taking you in the wrong direction, then walk away. But take your chances. You see, you've missed chances, and you need to learn that lesson. Does that make sense? He's also talking around you about that. Do you want to go for further education? Is there a learning you want? Do you want to learn something? Or, okay, you see, you know, it's no, because you don't know something, it's not no disgrace. He says, but it's good if you can know that you missed something and make attempts to learn it. Does that make sense? He's also talking around you about that sometimes that even the best people who really are concerned about us can tell us wrong. They can make mistakes because they see things as they see it for themselves and they don't actually get into your mind and know what you're thinking. Does that make sense? You see, you've got to do what's right for you. You see, you know, people are good, but sometimes they don't really know our situation. He's talking. You've got a birthday coming up. If it's not your birthday, is there a birthday coming up? Talking about a birthday. Okay. He's talking about a birthday. He's also talking with you about that. Sometimes you just need to know that you're in a situation or you're in a place you don't want to be in. Does that make sense? I'm not sure whether he means actual moving out of the area or what. He said, but if you want to move, you move. Do you want to move out of the area? Okay, but it's a situation you've got to move out of. Does that make sense? Okay, maybe. I always take maybes as yeses. Okay. But he says, hey, you know, if you're in a situation, like I said to the other lady, if you're in a situation you don't like, you're entitled to move out of it. And he said, you've got to learn, you can't please everybody. The only person you need to please is yourself. He said, it's impossible to please everybody. Does that make sense? So you've got to put yourself first. There's a situation where you need to put yourself first. He said, if you start worrying about other people, you're holding yourself back. As long as you're not doing harm to younger people around you, that's fine. But you've got to put yourself first sometimes. Not all the time, but say that at this moment, it's about what do you want to do. If you're taking a ring off, okay, he's talking about taking a ring off. I'll leave that with you. He's saying about taking the ring off. Okay. Or is there someone around you who's taking the ring off? He's not saying about a breakup or a relationship. He's just saying taking the ring off. Right, all that. You lost an earring. I'm talking about the lost earring. He's not telling me where it is. But you say she's lost an earring. Okay. One last thing. He's talking about also that there's some paperwork you need to finalise. Does that make sense? He said, just go over it, check it completely, make sure it's correct. Because if you send it off and it's not correct, then they'll either send it back to you or discard it. And you have to go all through the procedure again. You see that paperwork, check it, get the dates right, get all your facts right. No guesswork, it has to be correct. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to leave you with you. Thank you for working with me. Okay. Come to the lady what down the end in the white coat. I'll come to you. Okay. Excuse me. You take Scottish links. You've been to Scotland? Pardon? Oh, that's a Scottish link. That doesn't mean. This is Orkney Islands. You've been to Orkney Islands? Okay, that's just a bit. Okay. I'm waiting for someone to come in. I have a man coming in, and I feel this man, when he passed the spirit, would be middle aged, about 50, 49, 50-ish. Okay, I ain't finished yet. Okay. As he comes in, I said, Phil, this man will be someone full of energy, always on the move, always have to do something. Like a man like that. A man who he could be very helpful, but sometimes saying that I knew I was a bit of a pain as well. He said, but I've done my best to help people. Okay. He's talking about going to a British Legion club. There will be services links. This man would have been in the army at one time. So he's going back. Take a man, been in the services, army. Okay. This man would have been a gunner. He would have been in a regiment where they would have been called gunners, not private. Okay. Okay. I've got to give you Brian as a name. Brian. I'm not saying this is Brian, you just said tell her Brian. There'll be a Brian, you know. Okay, fine, that's okay. I've got to give you Sylvie or Sylvia. Okay, he's just giving me proof that he knows what's going on around you. He's also talking around him or himself that there will be connections with horses. No connections with horses with you. There's got to be a man's connection with horses. Okay. I'm going to ask him why he's come. Okay. He's talking to you about being so there's something on your mind that you need to say to somebody, but you're holding back. Does that make sense? It's about speaking your mind to somebody. You say at the moment you're not doing it, you're holding back. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, but there's things you want to say to other people. Okay, is he saying there's something on your mind? He said, just get it out of the way, say it and get it out of the way and see what their reactions are. He said, just say it, see what happens. He said, that's going to give you some clue of what's going on around them. Does that make sense? He seems to think whatever you say, there'll be no comeback to you, but it make them think about their own situation. Does that make sense? You see, because sometimes, not with you, but with the other people, or anyone, sometimes it's nice or we do need somebody else's view of something. And unless we get, until we get that, we have this singular view or something. And so if you put your thoughts into somebody else's mind by saying what you think, it'll give them something to work with and it would help them. Does that make sense? Okay, fine, that's your right. Okay, but he seems to think that there'd be no comebacks on you, but it would help the other people. But it's down to you, like, I'm not saying you've got to do it. Spirit can't tell you what to do. You can only do what you think. Okay? He's also talking around you about someone worried about x-rays. Somebody has some chest x-rays and they're a bit worried. Does that make sense? If it's not you, it's around you. Okay, and he's saying, give it time, things will be okay. You see, it may be a problem, the problem can be sorted out, but it's not as bad as they think it is. It's a problem that can be dealt with. And they have to be more open to the doctors and they have to listen to the doctor and they have to tell the doctor everything. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, I'll just leave that with you. He's saying that, they've got to do what the doctor says. Okay. There's also, you've got some decorating to do. He's talking about the decorating. But it's as though they want a lighter colour. That you want more light in your home. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, you're talking about lighter pastel colours, lighter colours. You see, you need to have more light. Okay. He's also talking, is you've got a cabinet you want to get rid of? Okay, okay. He's talking about a cabinet, he says get rid of it. So it's up to you. He knows it annoys you because he said about it. Okay. One last thing, he's talking to you about that. You lost something. You lost something out of one of your pockets. Okay, you would be aware of it. It's not going to happen. This is something that has happened. So you looked for something, it wasn't in your pockets. Okay. I'll leave that with you. You got a dark coat. Check your dark coat. There's something in them pockets that you need to have. It's talking about you've got to check the pockets. So I'm going to leave that with you, okay? Thank you for working with me, okay? Come to the gentleman. Quick one. Okay, that's gone quick. Okay. You play snooker and pool. Okay, someone says snooker and pool. Okay. A lady coming in, and this lady's next generation up, whoever she may be, I don't know at the moment. As she comes in, I just feel this lady will be a lady very, very down to earth. She will tell you exactly what she thought. She wouldn't beat about the bush. If she has something to say to you, she'll tell you. You take a lady like that? Okay. But a lady who, if you needed help, she'll be there. Well, she's giving me that impression. But she's saying, I couldn't take it. Anyone that lied or to me or told me a mistruth or something, I will tell them that they was lying. I will be... Okay, okay. But they would help you if you needed help. Okay, right, okay. As this lady comes in, I just feel with her that she will be someone who overweight, but not a great deal overweight. Okay, a lady, like I said, she used to speak her mind. A lady who would like a drink or two, but not a drunk, not a lady, but she would like to have a little drink now and again. Does that make sense? She wouldn't drink beer, she's talking about spirits or something like that. Just a little top now and again, okay? I also feel around you Scottish connections, okay? I also feel she's talking about, what could be Glasgow connections? She's talking about Glasgow. Yeah. Okay, right, okay. As she comes in, I do feel this lady, I do feel with her towards the end of her life. Her eyes would have gone dim, and I feel she would have passed either late 70s or early 80s. A bit later than that, okay, but I do feel her eyes was but I also feel with her that her walking wasn't so good either. Okay, she needed either Zimmerframe or walking sticks or walking aid or something like that. I've got to give you Alfred or Healthy. Yeah, oh, he's got me, don't hold it. So, but she's also talking about as though there would be someone that, do you like to go fishing? She's talking about someone going fishing. Oh, fishing, okay. But would there be someone that worked on the trawlers? You can't take that. She's showing me these trawlers with fish on. Okay, that might be connected with her. She's also talking about with her or with you or with her. She would be someone who arthritis in her hands. That's you wore gloves, actually wear gloves or keep her hands warm. Arthritis. She's showing me that. But I just feel that yes, she was very point blank. But if you seriously needed help, she'd be there. and she will stick up for you if she thought you was right. Okay, does that make sense? I can ask her why she's come. She's talking about you about it's okay to change your mind. Does that make sense? It's okay to do, you too. You see, yeah, when you say something, it might be okay to say it at that time. But as time moves on, things change and you learn other things come in. And if you have that right to say, well, no, that doesn't suit me now, I don't want to do it. You see, you need to change your mind. Does that make sense? You see, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay because you're not putting yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. Does that make sense? He's also talking around you about that as someone's departed, not the spirit, but someone's moved on. Does that make sense? You haven't lost a friend or moved out the area or something like that? Okay. Because she says, you know, people do move on. And she says, sometimes. Okay. Well, this is not about no one's passed the bit, so someone's just moved. And she's saying it leaves room for someone else to come in. You see, you know, there will be other people coming in. You play chess. Do you think 2 moves ahead all the time? Okay, so you live your life like playing chess, like, you know, thinking. But she's saying, you know, you just be positive in what you're doing, that you're doing the right thing. But don't let people change your mind if you think you are doing the right thing. You see, you've got to go with it. You said, let the past go. Does that make sense? Okay, let the past go. And I'm going to leave her love with you. Thank you everyone for a nice evening. Okay. Yeah. No, good. Thank you for a nice evening. I'd like to ask you to join me in closing prayer, please. I'd like to thank Great Spirit for being with us this evening, for the messages, the love, the healing, whatever you're giving us, Great Spirit, to help us through our lives. Again, I'd like to ask for healing for the world. The world is in a bad way at the moment. And we have to remember that this world, this earth, this planet, doesn't belong to us. If it belongs to anyone, it's our future generations. And we need to do better. So I'm asking you, Great Spirit, to put into the mindset of all our leaders on the earth plane, all our spiritual leaders on the earth plane, that it's time that they left their egos outside, work together and bring peace to this world. Peace is the best thing we could ever leave our future generations. Again, thank you, Great Spirit, for being with us. Amen.
Thank you very much.